Hey there, this is James Willis with MTB Strength Training Systems at BikeJames.com, and today I'm going to show you how your hand position affects your ability to absorb energy and impacts on your bike. I'm going to show you first why wider hands feel more stable, but they're actually taking away from your stability on the bike. And second, I'm going to show you an easy test that you can use to find a good hand position for absorbing energy on your bike. Now, this question comes up because over the last few weeks, I've posted some stuff showing how having your hands excessively wide affects all sorts of things on your bike negatively: your range of motion, your ability to stabilize yourself, your ability to lean your bike. But I still get some questions from people about the more aggressive side of riding, things like jumps and drops and downhilling, and asking me, well, don't wider hands give you the stability that you need to more effectively deal with those things? And so isn't there a trade-off here? And again, I believe that the answer is no. When you look at how we move off of the bike and then look at how to apply that to the bike, you'll see that having your hands excessively wide affects this negatively as well. So first off though, why do having your hands wider feel more stable? Now, when you look at creating movement in this plane right here, the push-up is a good way to assess that. And when you look at people that don't have good core and upper back strength, a common compensation that they'll have is to have their hands out wide. So you go and you watch people doing push-ups again, especially if you're watching some kids or people that don't have good core and upper back strength yet. It's very common to see them put their hands out wide like this. Now the reason is that I've created a suspension effect between my hands with my arms. But there's a difference between suspending my upper body here and stabilizing my upper body here. Now the thing is when my hands are out wide, I'm going to feel more stable up here. It is easier to hold myself up here. But the problem is as I try to move and create movement here, as I come down, I very quickly have to start compromising my upper body position. My shoulders round up, my elbows flare out. It's very hard for me to get all the way down to the ground, especially without getting into some serious compensations, which is getting my upper body into a bad position. So you can see that while I feel more stable in this small range of motion at the top with my hands out wide, I'm actually taking away from my authentic stability on the bike, which is my ability to move through my full range of motion while staying in a strong and stable position. So this is especially important if you're doing jumps and drops and downhilling, because you need to use that full range of motion on your bike to absorb those energy and impacts. And if you find yourself getting to the bottom of that range of motion and your shoulders and elbows are flaring out, you're putting yourself in a bad position for trying to actually stabilize your bike and yourself as you get down there. So a good test that you can use is this falling push-up test that I'm going to show you here. And again, you got to make sure that your wrists are able to do this. But if you got a good wrist, get some padding, something like that. But get on your knees. You're going to just fall forward and use your hands to absorb the energy, right? So kind of a little plyometric style push-up. I want you to do 3 to 5 reps. Basically, till you feel like you're finding a consistent hand position on the floor and feel comfortable with how you're absorbing energy. And then measure how wide your hands are in that position. And that is going to be a good hand position for you on the bike for absorbing energy that way. And so, again, if you put your hands out wider than that, you force yourself to put your hands out wider than that, you'll very quickly find out that is a bad way to try to absorb energy with the upper body in that plane right there. And that's the one that we have to worry about on the bike. Again, I know that we have to deal with some lateral forces, but as long as you're moving forward, over half of your energy is going forward. And so you want to set yourself up for dealing with the majority of forces on the bike, not to deal with the minority of forces on the bike, the side-to-side energy, and compromise your ability to absorb energy this way. And so again, do that falling push-up test and see what it tells you. I guarantee you it's going to correspond very closely to your basic push-up test, because there is a sweet spot for our hands for creating energy and absorbing energy in this plane, and that is the one that we need to worry about on our bike. And so again, if we get past this simplistic view of wider handlebars equal better leverage, and better leverage equals better stability, and start taking the human organism into account, and how does the human body optimally move off of the bike, and then how can we apply those insights to the bike? And you'll find that, yes, wider handlebars can help, but only up to a certain point. That having our hands wider than we need them, basically where they start to get outside of our elbows, that is a bad position for you to be in for creating and stabilizing, energy and stabilizing yourself on the bike. And so I encourage you to take these insights and apply them to your own bike instead of going along with this industry trend towards wider handlebars equaling better stability, or because we have wider tires, we need wider handlebars. I have heard all sorts of stuff from all sorts of different people about why they've been told that they need these wider handlebars, and none of them actually have any basis in any sort of facts or science or math or anything like that. It's just kind of bro science that gets thrown around by the cycling industry to kind of backstory, well, why do we have these wider handlebars? And so again, having a better way to go about this, looking at how we move off the bike and how we apply it to the bike, I think is a better way to go about it. So again, having your hands too wide is negatively affecting you on the bike in a lot of different ways. So do this test, do the push-up test, cut your handlebars down if this test tells you that you need to, and find out for yourself whether you have been holding yourself back by having your hands too wide. It was something that I found out that I was doing, and so anyways, one of the reasons that I'm trying to share this information with other riders, because I know that if it happened to me, there's a lot of other riders who are suffering from this as well. And trust me, having your hands too wide is taking away from your fun factor on the bike. It's probably adding, if you've got sore elbows, wrist problems, all sorts of things come from having your hands out too wide. So anyways, once again, it's been James Wilson. You can check me out at bikejames.com where you can find more tips like this. You can sign up for all sorts of free stuff, so free workouts, my newsletter, free training tips that I send out each week. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed this tip and gotten something from it, and I'll talk to everybody next time.